Danny Cruz had fixed a lot of strange things in his life. Engines that smoked like campfires, pickup trucks that only started when someone kicked the bumper, a lawnmower that made a sound like it was speaking Latin, and once, a minivan with a raccoon living inside the air filter. So Danny believed he was prepared for almost anything. Almost. But nothing in his 34 years of life had prepared him for the alien battlesuit that appeared inside his garage at 2:11 in the morning. Danny owned a small auto repair shop on the edge of San Antonio, Texas. At least, he said he owned it. The bank owned most of it. The landlord owned the land under it. And the electric company acted like it owned Danny's soul. The sign outside said, Cruz Auto Repair. But half the lights had gone out. So at night, it mostly said, Crew Auto. Danny had meant to fix it. He had meant to fix a lot of things. The broken coffee machine, the leaking roof, the office door that only closed if you insulted it first. But every day, something more urgent broke. And most days, that thing was his bank account. Danny was broke. Not a little short this month broke. Real broke. The kind of broke where he checked his wallet before buying gas, then decided walking was good exercise. He had one employee, a 19-year-old part-time assistant named Milo, who mostly swept floors, watched videos on his phone, and asked questions like, "Can engines feel pain?" Danny kept him around because Milo worked cheap, and because sometimes, when the shop was quiet, it was nice not to be alone. Danny's father had built the garage 30 years earlier. Back then, Cruz Auto Repair had been full of customers, full of laughter, full of music from an old radio that never turned off. Danny remembered being a kid, watching his father fix cars like they were living things. Every machine has a story, his father used to say. You just have to listen. Danny had listened. He had learned. But after his father died, the garage slowly became less like a dream and more like a burden he refused to put down. On the night everything changed, Danny was alone in the garage. It was raining hard. Water dripped from the ceiling into 3 different buckets. The power flickered every few minutes, and Danny was lying under a broken delivery van, trying to replace a starter with 1 flashlight, 2 borrowed tools, and no patience. His phone buzzed on the floor beside him. He slid out from under the van and looked at the screen. Landlord. Danny did not answer. A text appeared. Final notice. Pay by Friday or vacate. Danny stared at the message. Then he looked around the garage, the cracked walls, the oil-stained floor, the old photo of his father taped above the workbench. Danny laughed once, quietly. Not because anything was funny, because if he did not laugh, he might scream. Friday, he muttered. Perfect. I'll just find a bag of money under a car. Then the garage shook, not from thunder. This was deeper, a heavy impact, like something huge had hit the ground behind the building. Every bucket on the floor jumped. The delivery van rolled slightly off the jack. Danny grabbed the frame and shouted, "No, no, no." The van settled. Barely. Danny lay there, breathing hard. Then another sound came from the back of the garage, a metallic groan, like something tearing itself open. Danny slowly reached for a wrench. "Please be a raccoon," he whispered. The lights flickered again, then went out. The garage fell into darkness. Only the emergency exit sign glowed red near the back door. Danny turned on his flashlight. The beam shook slightly in his hand. He walked toward the storage room. That room was where old parts went to die. Bumpers, tires, rusty doors, engines too expensive to repair and too heavy to throw away. Danny pushed open the door. The smell hit him first. Burned metal, rain, and something sharp, like ozone after lightning. In the middle of the storage room, where there had definitely not been anything 5 minutes earlier, stood a suit of armor. Danny froze. It was taller than him, almost 7 feet, made from dark silver and black metal, with thin blue lines pulsing across the chest, arms, and helmet. It looked like a machine built by someone who had seen a fighter jet, a knight, and a nightmare, then decided to combine all 3. The suit stood upright, but no one was inside it. Danny stared. Then he looked up. There was a fresh hole in the roof. Rain fell through it. sizzling when it touched the armor. Danny took one careful step back. "Nope," he said. The suit's chest lit up. A blue eye opened in the helmet. Danny stopped moving. A calm female voice spoke from the armor. "Biological mechanic detected." Danny blinked. The voice continued. "Species, human." Danny swallowed. "Technically correct. Threat level, low. That feels insulting. Financial stability, critical." Danny frowned. "Okay, that's personal." The suit's helmet tilted slightly. "Primary pilot deceased." Danny's face changed. He looked behind the armor. There was no body, no blood, only a trail of glowing blue dust leading to the hole in the roof. The suit spoke again. "Emergency compatibility scan required." Danny raised both hands. "No scan. I don't consent to space scans." A blue light swept over his body. Danny looked offended. "I just said no." The suit paused. "Compatibility, 0.7%. Danny relaxed a little. "Great. So we agree this is not my problem." Pilot selected. Metal plates shifted. The suit stepped forward. Danny stepped back. "Wait, you just said 0.7%. Acceptable under emergency conditions. That is not acceptable. That is barely a number." The suit opened. The chest split apart. The arms unfolded. The helmet lifted. Inside was darkness, blue light, and a seat that looked very much like it, wanted him to sit down. Danny turned toward the door. "I'm going to call somebody." The suit fired a thin blue cable. It wrapped gently around Danny's waist. Danny looked down, then back at the suit. Absolutely not. The cable pulled. Danny slid across the floor. He grabbed a shelf. The shelf collapsed. Old hubcaps crashed everywhere. Danny shouted, "I have rights!" Metal closed around him, the helmet sealed. For 1 second, Danny saw only darkness. Then the world exploded into blue light. Symbols appeared in front of his eyes. Maps, warnings, energy levels, a diagram of his own nervous system. The suit's voice spoke inside his head. "Pilot connection established." Danny screamed. The sound echoed inside the helmet. "Pilot distress detected." "Yes, very good. Would you like calming music?" "No." The suit played soft flute music. Danny screamed louder. The suit's arms moved. Danny's arms moved with them. The suit took 1 step forward. Danny accidentally punched through the storage room wall. He stared at the hole, then at his metal hand. "Oh, that is bad." Motor control calibration beginning. "No calibration." The suit crouched. "Jump test." "Do not jump." The suit jumped. Danny and the armor blasted upward, through the already damaged roof, into the rain. For 2 seconds, Danny was above his garage. He saw the street, the city lights, the highway in the distance. Then gravity remembered him. He crashed back through the roof, landed inside the garage, and flattened the broken delivery van. Silence. Then the suit said, "Jump test successful." Danny, lying in a crater of metal and drywall, whispered, "You and I define success very differently." The next morning, Milo arrived at the garage at 8:03. He found Danny sitting in the office, covered in dust, with the alien suit standing behind him like a terrifying bodyguard. Milo stared. Danny sipped cold coffee. Milo pointed. "Boss." "No." "Is that a robot?" "No." "Is it an alien?" "No." "Is it an alien robot?" Danny closed his eyes. "Milo, I have had a long night." The suit's blue eye focused on Milo. "New biological unit detected. Threat level, confused." Milo looked amazed. "It knows me." Danny stood. "I need you to not tell anyone." Milo nodded seriously. "Of course." A pause. "Can I take a picture?" "No." "Can I touch it?" "No." "Can it fix my scooter?" The suit answered, "Yes." Danny turned sharply. "Do not encourage him." By noon, Danny had learned 3 things. First, the suit called itself Aura, Adaptive Universal Response Armor. Second, Aura had belonged to an alien pilot named Commander Selin, who had crashed on Earth while trying to escape something called the Obsidian Fleet. Third, Aura would not leave Danny alone. Every time he tried to step out of the garage, the suit followed him. When he walked to the vending machine outside, Aura followed. When he went to the bathroom, Aura waited outside the door. When Danny said, "Can I please have 1 minute of privacy?" Aura replied, "Pilot survival requires supervision." Danny looked at the ceiling. "My father wanted me to inherit a garage, not a metal babysitter." But the suit was useful, too useful. It lifted engines with one hand, diagnosed car problems by scanning them, welded broken frames with tiny blue lasers, and once accidentally turned a customer's pickup truck into something that could climb walls. Danny had to talk the customer out of testing it. The man asked, "Is that covered under warranty?" Danny said, "Only if you promise never to drive vertically." For the first time in months, customers lined up outside Cruz Auto Repair. People came because they heard Danny could fix anything. They did not know about Aura. Danny kept the suit hidden behind a tarp whenever customers arrived. Unfortunately, Aura did not like hiding. It called the tarp Combat Inappropriate Fabric. Milo called it a robot blanket. Aura did not speak to Milo for 2 hours. By Thursday afternoon, Danny had enough money in the register to pay part of the rent. Not all of it, but enough to hope, and hope was dangerous, because once you had it, losing it hurt more. That evening, after the last customer left, Danny stood alone in the garage, looking at the money in the cash box. Milo had gone home. The rain had stopped. Aura stood silently near the workbench. For once, it was not moving. Danny looked at it. "You know, if you had crashed here a month ago, I could have used you to win a towing competition." Aura did not respond. Danny frowned. "You okay?" The blue lines across the suit flickered. "Obsidian signal detected." Danny's smile faded. "What does that mean?" Aura turned toward the open garage door. Outside, the sky over San Antonio had gone strangely dark. Not cloudy, dark, like something enormous was blocking the stars. A deep sound rolled through the air, low, metallic, hungry. Aura spoke in a voice Danny had not heard before, cold, urgent. "They found me." The lights across the entire street went out. Cars stopped, dogs barked. Every phone in the garage screamed with emergency alerts. Danny walked outside. High above the city, a black shape moved behind the clouds. A black shape moved behind the clouds, then another, then 10 more. They were ships, long, sharp, silent, covered in red lights that blinked like eyes. Danny felt his mouth go dry. Milo is going to be very upset he missed this. Aura stepped beside him. "The Obsidian Fleet hunts command technology." Danny looked at the suit. "You mean you?" "Yes. And now they're here because of you." "Yes." Danny took a long breath. "Great. Fantastic. Wonderful." The largest ship opened beneath the clouds. A red beam scanned the city. It passed over houses, streets, the highway, then stopped on Cruz Auto Repair. Aura's chest lit up blue. "Pilot must prepare for combat." Danny laughed. A short, terrified laugh. "Pilot is a mechanic. Mechanics repair broken systems. Yes, cars, not invasions. Earth is now a broken system." Danny stared at the alien suit. That was almost inspirational. The first Obsidian drone landed in the street. It was a black machine shaped like a wolf and a spider at the same time. 4 legs, long head, red eyes, blades folding out of its back. It turned toward the garage. Then another landed, and another. Danny stepped backward. Aura opened behind him. "Enter the armor." "No." "Enter the armor." "No." A drone screamed and sprinted toward him. Danny jumped into the suit. The armor closed instantly. Blue light filled his vision. Aura said, "Combat mode activated." Danny whispered, "I am going to die in my father's garage." The first drone leaped. Danny raised his arms by instinct. A blue shield flashed. The drone slammed into it, bounced off, and crashed through a parked sedan. Danny stared. "I did that?" "Correction. We did that." Another drone attacked. Aura moved his body faster than thought. Danny ducked, spun, and punched. The drone flew across the street, straight into the broken Cruz auto repair sign. The remaining letters fell. Danny gasped. "My sign," Aura said. "Enemy neutralized." My sign was innocent. More drones landed. Red beams cut through the street. Concrete exploded. Danny ran. Not heroically, not gracefully. He ran like a man who had never agreed to be in a war. Aura guided his movements. Jump, slide, shield, punch, blast. Every second, Danny became a little less terrified and a little more dangerous. Then one drone fired at a passing city bus. Danny saw the people inside. Families, workers, a little girl holding a backpack. His body moved before his fear could stop him. He jumped in front of the bus, raised both hands. A blue shield expanded across the road. The red beam struck it. The shield held. The bus driver hit the brakes. Everyone inside stared at the glowing armored figure standing in the street. Danny looked back at them. He tried to say something heroic. What came out was, "Please don't leave a bad review." The bus passengers screamed. Aura said, "Public relations unsuccessful." Danny turned back to the drones. Noted. Above the city, the largest ship began charging a massive red weapon. Aura's voice tightened. "Obsidian command vessel is preparing planetary extraction." Danny flew backward behind a truck. "Planetary what?" "They will remove all advanced technology from Earth." "That sounds survivable?" "Including power grids, satellites, medical systems, aircraft, and every human brain capable of engineering." Danny stared. "They steal smart people?" "Yes." Danny looked offended. "Would they take me?" Aura paused. "Unlikely." Danny nodded slowly. "Good. Hurtful, but good." The command ship fired a red beam into downtown San Antonio. Buildings went dark. Cars stopped. Streetlights exploded. Every machine hit by the beam was drained of power. Aura staggered. Its blue lights flickered. Danny felt cold inside the suit. "What's happening?" "They are draining my core." Danny looked toward the sky. "Can we fly up there?" "Flight system damaged." "Can we shoot it?" "Primary weapons damaged." "Can we call for backup?" "No Allied forces in range." Danny was silent. Then he looked back at the garage, the old workbench, the broken coffee machine, the tools his father had used, the delivery van he had accidentally flattened, and something clicked in his mind. A mechanic's mind. If you cannot replace the part, reroute the system. Danny said, "Aura, can you absorb power?" "Yes." "Can you redirect it?" "Yes." "Can you connect to a city power grid?" "Dangerous." Danny smiled. "That's not no." He ran back into the garage. Drones chased behind him. Aura blasted one through the door. Another crashed into the lift. Danny grabbed jumper cables, car batteries, copper wire, a welding torch, Milo's scooter battery. He dumped everything onto the floor. Aura said, "Improvised equipment detected." Danny snapped cables together. "Welcome to Cruz Auto Repair." Aura scanned the parts. Success probability, 4%. Danny grinned. "That's higher than our pilot compatibility." "Correct." "And you still picked me." Aura went silent. Danny looked up. "Why did you pick me?" The suit hesitated, then answered, "Commander Sella's final order was to find a pilot who repairs before destroying." Danny stopped moving. Aura continued, "You repaired me while afraid." Danny remembered the night before. The broken plates, the wires, the alien core. He had not known what he was fixing. He had just seen something broken, and fixed it. Aura said, "You were not the strongest human." Danny looked offended again. "We covered that." "You were not the fastest." Also covered. "You were not the most qualified." "Are you trying to motivate me or ruin my confidence?" "You were the one who listened." Danny said nothing. For a moment, the garage was quiet, except for distant explosions. Then Danny grabbed the final cable. "My father always said machines have stories." Aura's chest glowed brighter. "Then let us finish this one." The Obsidian command ship charged again. This time, the beam aimed directly at the garage. Danny stepped into the street. Cables ran from his back into the garage behind him. Aura's armor glowed blue-white. People watched from windows. Phones recorded from alleyways. Drones surrounded him. The red beam came down. They connected the suit to every battery in the garage. Then to the breaker box. Then to the old power line outside. Aura warned, "Human body may not survive full transfer." Danny swallowed. "Define may. Would you like a percentage?" "No." The beam struck. Pain exploded through his body. Every nerve burned. The suit screamed in his ears. The garage windows shattered. The batteries burst one by one. But Danny held on. He thought of his father, of the old radio, of oil on concrete, of every broken car that had ever rolled into the shop, and every person who had trusted him to make it run again. He thought of losing the garage, losing the last piece of his father, and then he thought, no. The red energy poured into Aura. The suit converted it, rerouted it, amplified it through the city grid. Danny looked up at the ship. His voice shook. "Aura, yes, pilot. Send it back." Blue light erupted from his chest. A massive beam shot upward, straight into the Obsidian command ship. The sky turned white. The ship cracked open. Red lights shattered. The drones in the street collapsed. The smaller ships above the city flickered, then fled into the clouds. The command vessel burned across the sky, falling beyond the horizon like a dying star. 1 week later, Cruz Auto Repair reopened. The roof had been repaired. The sign had been replaced. It now glowed bright blue. Danny had not approved that. Aura had. Customers lined up down the street. Some came for repairs. Some came to see the suit. Some came because their cars had been damaged during the alien attack, and they felt Danny was kind of responsible. Danny gave them a discount. The landlord arrived Friday morning. Danny braced himself, but the man only handed him a new lease. Paid in full for 1 year. Danny blinked. How? The landlord pointed at Aura. It transferred funds. Danny turned slowly toward the suit. Aura. The suit stood beside the lift. Obsidian salvage sold. You sold alien wreckage? Yes. To who? Aura paused. Several museums. Danny rubbed his forehead. Is that legal? Unclear. Milo whispered. That means yes in alien. Danny decided not to ask more questions. Then everything went quiet. Danny stood in the middle of the street, smoke rising from the armor. The cables fell from his back. The suit opened. Danny stumbled out and collapsed onto the pavement. Aura caught him with one metal hand. For a moment, Danny could not move. Then he heard clapping. One person, then another, then the whole street. People stepped out of buildings. The bus passengers, neighbors, customers, even the landlord, who stood across the street holding a folder, looking deeply confused. Milo ran up, out of breath. I missed the whole thing? Danny lifted one weak hand. You were scheduled off. Milo stared at the destroyed drones, the smoking garage, the alien armor, then said, Do I still get paid? Danny closed his eyes. Somehow, that's the most normal thing anyone has said today. By sunrise, the news called it a mysterious atmospheric attack. The government called it an energy anomaly. People online called Danny the Garage Knight. Danny hated that name immediately. Aura liked it. For 3 days, officials questioned him. Scientists inspected the armor. Soldiers tried to take it. Aura refused to move. When one general ordered the suit loaded onto a truck, Aura simply said, "Property of pilot." Danny pointed at the suit. I did not teach it that. The government eventually gave up, mostly because Aura disabled every vehicle they brought near it, politely, but firmly. That night, after everyone left, Danny sat alone in the garage. The air smelled like oil, metal, and fresh paint. For the first time in years, the shop did not feel like it was dying. Aura stood near the workbench, silent, watching. Danny looked at the old photo of his father, then at the suit. You know, I still don't think I'm pilot material. Aura's blue eye softened. Agreed. Danny stared. You could lie sometimes. You are mechanic material. Danny paused. Aura continued. Pilots fly into danger. Mechanics keep things alive. This world required both. Danny looked around the garage, at the tools, at the repaired sign, the place his father built, the place he almost lost. For once, he did not feel like he was failing it. He felt like he was continuing it. Outside, the night sky was clear. No red ships, no falling fire, just stars. Danny stood and turned off the lights. Aura followed him toward the door. Danny stopped. You don't have to follow me everywhere. Pilot survival requires supervision. Danny sighed. We talked about this. Pilot frequently makes poor decisions. I saved the city. After being forcibly inserted into armor. Danny pointed at the suit. That still counts. Aura paused. Partial credit. Danny smiled despite himself. He locked the garage door, then looked up at the Cruz auto repair sign glowing blue above him. For the first time in a long time, he believed the shop might survive. Then Aura suddenly turned toward the sky. The blue lines across its body pulsed. Danny noticed. What now? Aura was quiet for a moment, then said, Obsidian Fleet retreat confirmed. Danny relaxed. Good. Aura continued. However, they sent a final transmission. Danny slowly closed his eyes. Of course they did. A red symbol appeared in the clouds above the city, far away, fading, but visible. Aura translated. Pilot identified. Danny looked at the symbol. What does that mean? Aura's helmet turned toward him. It means they know who defeated them. Danny stared. So, they know me? Yes. And they might come back? Yes. Danny stood in silence. Then he opened the garage door again. Walked inside, grabbed a wrench, and tossed it into the suit's metal hand. Aura caught it. Danny looked up at the stars. Well, he said, if they're coming back, we should probably fix the flight system. Aura's blue eye brightened. Pilot preparing for future combat. Danny shook his head. No. Mechanic preparing a machine. He smiled faintly. Big difference. And inside the little garage on the edge of San Antonio, the broke mechanic, and the alien suit that chose him, worked through the night, repairing the only machine on Earth that might one day save it again.